Good morning and welcome to Rising. We have, of course, another great show for you today. It is Tuesday morning. I think I finally got my voice back, so that's.
Oh yeah, I was wondering about the scratchy voice. I thought maybe you were getting sick. I was going to say
Friday and Monday. No, I was just been talking too much. I wear out my voice, albeit, loud restaurants with people, and I just can't stop myself from talking. I'm like, you know what, tonight I won't talk as much, and then half an hour in, I'm ranting and raving about a variety of things.
And then it just gets louder and louder. As the restaurant progresses.
Also, I don't have great hearing, so I speak louder because I can't hear myself.
Oh, wow. Okay, you got to get that checked out, Robby. Don't play games.
Nah, I'm an old man. It's fine.
Coming up on Rising, former Jeffrey Epstein confidant Ghislaine Maxwell chose to plead the fifth during her congressional testimony to avoid answering potentially incriminating questions.
Plus, NBC's Savannah Guthrie released a new video on Instagram saying that her family is at a, quote, hour of desperation as the latest ransom deadline has expired.
And Senator Bernie Sanders defended a Winter Olympian after President Trump bashed the athlete's comments about the U.S. But first, as always, Robby, what's on your radar?
Sure you'll love this one, Lindsay. Princess Jasmine is ready for her close-up. Jasmine Crockett, of course, released a new ad over the weekend in which she slammed President Trump and promised to fight back because she's such a warrior. Take a look.
The system is broken. Our communities are being terrorized. People are hurting. But Texas has a warrior who's fighting back. A champion for us, our votes, our rights. It drives the president crazy. So they tried to draw her out of Congress because they thought it would take away our power. They were wrong.
I'm Jasmine Crockett, and I approve this message.
Gotta admit, I love the comic book graphics and the force lightning. But did you see that final shot where Crockett's standing side by side with an army of people, presumably Texas voters? Well, no, that was apparently AI generated. I guess she couldn't find enough real supporters. She also couldn't be bothered to write down her actual policy ideas and put them on her website. A CNN reporter caught that in the issues section of her campaign site next to her proposed plan containing the placeholder text, which read, "Write out your bullet points here. Anything from a sentence to a paragraph works." That website has since been corrected. Now, I guess some of those great ideas still forthcoming. Now, look, it's perfectly possible that Jasmine Crockett defeats James Tallarico, the obviously more electable and more impressive moderate Democratic candidate by far. If she does, she'll face an even more uphill battle to get elected as a U.S. Senator in the reliably red state of Texas. That's because even among progressives, she has expressed deeply off-putting and identity-coded and, frankly, even offensive statements, like her complaining about mediocre white boys and saying that Latinos who voted for Trump have a slave mentality. Ugly stuff. Revealing. And of course, she's happy to be boldly, stridently wrong to the point of outright deception. Remember when she accused Republican Lee Zeldin and others of taking money from Jeffrey Epstein? And then we found out that it was actually a different Jeffrey Epstein. Our Jeffrey Epstein was already dead. She was defiant about that and refused to apologize, even doubling down and saying it was perfectly fair. She actually addressed this again recently during an interview with the progressive media site Vox, where the interviewer politely suggested that maybe this was something, just maybe, she should walk back. Nope. Here was Crockett's response.
But when I see the moment on the House where you seem to accuse Republican Lee Zeldin of taking money from Jeffrey Epstein, but it seemed like if it was not the same person, I wonder, is there times in which the rhetoric goes too far? Are there times in which you should say, maybe I messed that one up?
No, not in this environment. I don't. I think that we are really in uncharted territory.
So I hear your argument that you're reflecting the urgency necessary, and so that's why you won't give an inch.
Correct.
Did you catch that? The journalist really lets her off the hook there. He says she's reflecting the urgency of the moment, which is why she feels empowered to lie and to deceive. We'll see how that works come primary time. Now, Lindsay, dear Lindsay,
yes,
you said yesterday when we discussed, I believe in your lens, we discussed that really awful Obama's video.
Yes.
And you said that Trump who said it was wrong and took it down, it was a mistake, but didn't explicitly say the words, "I'm sorry." You were pretty harsh on him about that.
Yeah, and when Jasmine Crockett
didn't even admit
Lee Zeldin of the wrong Epstein, yes, I disagree with that. She went on The View and said, "I never said Jeffrey Epstein,
right,
the exact pedophile."
She didn't admit it was, not only she will not apologize, she won't even admit it was a mistake.
Yes, she just said, "I just was suggesting we need to look into that."
Should you maybe have not done that? Her response,
The difference between me and anyone else is always going to be who can't just call out a spade is that I can. And so she should have apologized for that. But I think what you're critiquing is like not policy. It's like what's happening on the website, like process critiques. So you're trying to dig into anything you can, like historical footage of her saying the wrong Epstein, to try to tie it to present day. That was months ago.
I'm not gonna let this one go.
You don't have to let it go. You can keep it going.
Funny.
It's funny to you, but you can keep going. But I'm saying the policy is not the thing that I hear you critiquing. And so her website has a mistake and an error, but President Trump released a great health care plan that had absolutely nothing. So at least on her website, she listed, he said nothing.
Of a plan.
No, he doesn't. You know that was trash. I sat here with Amber, who's even more vehemently a defender of President Trump, and said there's nothing there. So I don't think you think there's something there. She talked about specific things.
There, huh?
Yeah, Amber said, so you can't even, don't go further than that. I mean, come on. So she talked about student debt relief. She talked about asking all insurers to fully cover people for their benefits and do full coverage. She also talks about boosting substance abuse treatment. But you picked out that she left in text on a graphic, but you also will excuse.
Insert idea here.
And if you think that Jasmine Crockett is writing her website, right, but you also excuse that the president's not tweeting out his tweets, then come on now, you're not being fair also. So you can say that a clerical issue like this is not actually reflective of policies when the president and his administration is not releasing one lick of information about what their health care plans are. So that is not a fair criticism. Also, I think that people are scared of Jasmine Crockett. She has this bravado about her. She's a national name. She might break through with the apathetic voters of Texas. As you know, in most elections, Texas voters show up about 50% or less. And so she has an opportunity to break through and be that candidate that gets people out to vote and motivates them. And even you who are interested in her graphics on the screen, that might be the one factor that gets somebody to consider looking into her record. And it's not like the woman hasn't been in Congress for years. She has a long-standing record that shows all the things that she's accomplished and voted on. So if you're confused about where she stands, look at her last few votes and you can see exactly where she stands. Don't look at text on screen that's a mistake, copy and paste probably from ChatGPT. I don't care about that. That's not policy.
Yes,
Jasmine Crockett is running on policy.
I don't love the idea of politicians using AI to supplement their base of support. Like this is like the Battle of Helm's Deep or
your
something.
best friend, Kevin O'Leary, loves the idea of AI, right?
I like
interviewed
the
him and he
idea
went
of AI.
viral about using AI as extra. So why can't she use AI? Okay, so she had 20 people behind her in real life and then 1,000 in AI. Like, okay, you want her to pay 1,000 people to come out and use campaign funds on 1,000 extras?
You just be honest.
Why? You want her to get...
Why?
No, 1,000 people probably like Jasmine Crockett. I say that to be true just by the 1,000 likes she gets on any given day on tweets. So
That's
therefore...
me liking them. I'm liking them so I can flag them. Sorry, if I ever like your tweet, it doesn't necessarily mean I agree with your tweet. It means I'm putting it in my save for later file.
There's a save button also that you can
just use the like function for that.
You know what I'll tell you? It seems a little bit like you're scrambling. It seems like you just want to find something.
Me?
Yeah, you're scrambling.
I'm scrambling.
Yeah, because people are like,
Am I scrambling?
Yeah, I feel like people are like, I'd love if Jasmine Crockett, and they're saying that because they wouldn't really love. It's like people say, I love if Mamdani won, and then he won.
No, I want her to be the candidate because I think she's more likely to lose.
But everyone said that about Mamdani. You know, let's talk
I didn't
about
say that about Mamdani.
Well, let's talk about unelectable candidates. Trump was at one time the unelectable candidate. John Fetterman in Pennsylvania was at one time the unelectable candidate because they're likely to lose. You know that? And guess what? Both of them have been elected. And so this rhetoric around people that you might be scared of whether they come into position.
I was surprised Fetterman won despite his medical problems at the time.
And I was surprised President Trump won despite a slew of things that we can go over.
Okay, but we're not talking about the nation at large. We're talking about just Texas.
So you might be surprised if Jasmine Crockett wins. And I think that is scary to a lot of people who don't like her.
You know what?
And she fights fire with fire. And people don't like that she's as sassy as our president. If you accept that behavior from him, you got to accept it from her.
You know what I'm surprised about?
What are you surprised
This is the second day in a row this week where we have actually matched, and you did not comment on it because you always say we're matching, and we never are. But today we actually are, and yesterday, if you go back and look, we were matching as well. And you didn't say anything.
You know what? I love when people change the topic because they know Jasmine Crockett might win.
I want to get that in there before we proceeded to more serious discussion topics. Next up, speaking of which, convicted child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell pleads the Fifth while Congress takes a peek at the unredacted Epstein files. Give you the latest on that. Stay with us.